For decades, two names have echoed through the halls of Star Wars fandom as pinnacles of power. Mace Windu, the champion of the Jedi Order, a master whose purple blade was the stuff of legend, and Darth Vader, the chosen one fallen, a cybernetic titan whose shadow fell across the entire galaxy. They are two of the most formidable warriors of their respective eras, separated by time, but forever linked in debate. What if they weren't? What if, in a twist of fate, these two masters of the Force met on the field of battle? But this isn't about settling a debate with a single final answer. The films themselves never give us that. Instead, this is about building a case, piece by piece. The rule is simple. We will use only what the movies show us. We are analyzing this confrontation based exclusively on the cinematic canon presented in episodes 1 through V6. By the end, we won't have a new piece of canon, but we will have an argument backed by nothing but what we've all seen on the silver screen. To understand how this fight would unfold, we must first understand how they fight. The lightsaber is the weapon of a Jedi and the tool of a Sith. How each master wields it reveals everything about their philosophy and their prowess. Mace Windu's skill is showcased in flashes of brilliance. In the chaos of the Geonosis arena, he is a portrait of deadly efficiency. But his masterpiece of swordsmanship is found in the heart-stopping duel against Darth Sidious in Revenge of the Sith. Here we see Windu's style in its full glory. While 3 of the Order's finest masters fall in mere seconds, Windu stands firm. He doesn't just defend, he attacks, pressing forward with a relentless, aggressive offense. The climax of this duel is arguably one of the most impressive feats of swordsmanship in the entire saga. Mace Windu successfully disarms the Sith Lord who orchestrated the fall of the Republic, shattering his defense and holding him at the point of his blade. The movies never give his style a name, but they show us what it is: a furious, overwhelming assault that seems to channel an opponent's power back at them. Then we have Darth Vader. Across the original trilogy, we see a completely different kind of duelist. His style is heavy, deliberate, and built on overwhelming strength, often wielding his crimson blade with one hand, using powerful, battering strikes. Against his old master on the Death Star, their duel is cautious and methodical. A chess match where Vader's raw power is held in check by Kenobi's perfect defense. Neither can gain a true advantage before Obi-Wan makes his sacrifice. Against the less experienced Luke Skywalker on Bespin, however, Vader's dominance is absolute. He is in complete control, toying with Luke. But it is his final duel against Luke in Return of the Jedi that is most revealing. When Luke gives in to his rage, his own assault becomes a furious, desperate storm of blows. And under this relentless pressure, Vader is overwhelmed. He is driven back, his defense breaking under the sheer speed and intensity of the attack, ultimately leading to him losing his hand. This moment suggests a critical vulnerability in Vader's method. It appears to struggle against a fast-paced, unrelenting offensive. When we place these two styles side by side, the edge in pure lightsaber combat seems to fall to Mace Windu. His demonstrated ability to press the attack and defeat Darth Sidious in a head-to-head duel is a feat that stands nearly alone in the cinematic saga. Furthermore, the vulnerability suggested in Vader's final duel plays directly into the very kind of aggressive assault that Mace Windu appears to have mastered. A duel is more than just swordplay. It is a dance of bodies. In this category, the difference between the two combatants is stark. Mace Windu, as seen in the prequel trilogy, is a Jedi in his prime. In Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, he moves with the fluidity and confidence of an elite warrior, capable of closing distances quickly and reacting with lightning-fast reflexes. His duel with Sidious showcases incredible stamina and physical power, fighting in close, suffocating quarters against a master of the dark side without giving an inch. He represents the pinnacle of what a Jedi warrior could be physically. Darth Vader is the opposite. From the moment we see him stride onto the Tantive 4 in A New Hope, his presence is defined by his slow, deliberate, and imposing movements. His physicality is that of a walking fortress. Across 3 films, Vader is never shown running, leaping, or performing any of the high-speed acrobatics that were commonplace for Jedi like Mace Windu. His combat mobility is grounded and linear. He walks, he stands, he overpowers. This observed limitation is not just a stylistic choice. It has clear consequences on screen. In his final confrontation with Luke, he is physically driven backward across the throne room. He cannot easily reposition or create space when faced with a sufficiently fast opponent. He is forced to meet force with force. And when his opponent's speed and ferocity exceed his ability to parry, his defense crumbles. In the category of physicality and mobility, the verdict is not just a point for Mace Windu. It's an overwhelming one. Windu's speed, agility, and freedom of movement grant him an enormous advantage. He can set the pace of the fight and strike from multiple angles in a way that Vader has never been shown to be capable of countering. While the lightsaber is their primary weapon, the Force is their true source of power. Here, the dynamic between the two combatants shifts dramatically. Mace Windu is undeniably a powerful Jedi Master. We see him use a potent Force push on Geonosis. His most impressive Force-related feat is defensive, his ability to catch and absorb Darth Sidious's barrage of Force lightning on his blade, a display of control that few could ever hope to replicate. He demonstrates a masterful command of the Force in a way that complements his dueling. However, when it comes to raw, overwhelming, offensive Force power, Darth Vader is in a league of his own. The movies are a litany of his terrifying telekinetic abilities. He casually crushes machinery, deflects blaster bolts with a gesture, and hurls massive objects at Luke on Bespin. His use of the Force choke is infamous, a deadly weapon he can employ from a distance. His senses are also incredibly sharp. He feels Obi-Wan's presence on the Death Star and communicates directly with Luke through their minds. While the films never show him generating Force lightning, the sheer scale of his telekinetic power is far beyond anything we see Mace Windu perform. In this category, the advantage is decisively Vader's. His raw power in the Force is his greatest weapon, the tool he would undoubtedly leverage to try and dominate from the very beginning. A fight is won not just with strength, but with strategy. The mind of the warrior is the ultimate battlefield, and here we find perhaps the most critical difference between these two legends. Mace Windu is portrayed as the epitome of Jedi discipline. He is calm, focused, and decisive. When he confronts Palpatine, he is there to arrest the Chancellor. His ultimate decision to execute Sidious is not one of hot-headed anger, but a cold, pragmatic calculation that the Sith Lord is simply too dangerous for the Republic's institutions to contain. He is not easily baited, and his focus appears absolute. Darth Vader, for all his power, is a prisoner of his own emotions. This is the central tragedy of his character, and it is his greatest tactical flaw. His fall as Anakin Skywalker was orchestrated through the manipulation of his fear. As Vader, that emotional vulnerability remains. The duel on Mustafar was lost due to a combination of arrogant rage and a critical tactical error. Years later, in the Emperor's throne room, he demonstrates a similar flaw. His taunts toward Luke about turning Leia to the dark side backfire catastrophically, enraging Luke, and pushing him into the furious assault that ultimately defeats Vader. At pivotal moments, he allows his own rage to cloud his judgment. Furthermore, Vader has a physical vulnerability that Windu does not. His entire existence is maintained by the life support system in his suit. While durable, this system is not invulnerable. In Return of the Jedi, we see it damaged by Luke's lightsaber, producing sparks. Moments later, the Emperor's Force lightning completely destroys the system, leading directly to his death. This suit, the very thing that keeps him alive, is also a centralized weak point, a target a master duelist like Mace Windu would be uniquely equipped to exploit. In the tactical arena, Mace Windu holds the clear advantage. His discipline stands in direct opposition to Vader's emotional volatility. Vader's tendency to be provoked into making mistakes, combined with a critical physical weakness, puts him at a severe disadvantage against a calm and calculating master. So, after breaking it down, using only the evidence from the films, what is the most likely outcome? Let's summarize the argument. In pure lightsaber skill, Windu's victory over Sidious gives him the edge. In physicality and mobility, it's an overwhelming win for Windu. In the application of raw force power, Vader has a massive advantage, and in the battle of wits, Windu's discipline appears to triumph over Vader's emotional weakness. The outcome of this duel would be decided by which combatant could force the fight into their domain of strength. Vader's strategy would almost certainly involve keeping his distance, using his immense telekinetic power to crush Windu from afar. The question then is whether a Jedi Master of Windu's caliber, who has deflected the full force of Sidious's lightning, would be capable of defending against such an onslaught and closing that distance. And once the fight becomes a duel of blades, the dynamic shifts entirely in Windu's favor. Vader's slow, powerful style is simply not built to handle the speed and agility of a prequel-era Jedi Master at his peak. We saw him get driven back and overwhelmed by a furious, half-trained Luke Skywalker. Imagine him facing Mace Windu, a duelist whose entire style is a storm of controlled, precise, and relentless aggression. Vader's rage, his greatest source of power, becomes the very instrument of his undoing. It would make him predictable. It would create openings. And Mace Windu, the man who found the single crack in Darth Sidious's defense, would not fail to exploit them. He would meet Vader's strength with speed, his rage with focus, and his raw power with precision. The cinematic evidence, interpreted this way, points toward one conclusion. While Vader's command of the Force is terrifying, his physical limitations and emotional vulnerabilities are liabilities he cannot overcome against an opponent this skilled. The argument, based purely on the films, favors Mace Windu, but that's just the case we've built from the film evidence. Who do you think wins this clash of titans? Is Vader's raw power in the Force enough to overcome his physical limitations? Let us know your interpretation in the comments below. We read every single one. And if you love deep dives into cinematic canon, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss another showdown. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.